Do you recognize this video? Or this CD?
Yes.
You have reviewed it?
Yes.
You're on the approach?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Letter?
No objection.
I'm going to give it to you, sir. Actually, we click on the, and we just, I want to make sure the volume's on correctly. There you go, sir.
Thank you. So I'm about to play you footage of your body cam that's already been previously admitted as State's Exhibit number 7. I'm going to play it, then once it's done playing, I'm going to ask you a couple questions about it.
Oh yeah, can I get off the phone?
Yeah, you can. You're a passenger.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're the passenger. Are you?
What are you guys doing? I live there.
Yeah, what is this? Okay, my elbow is open. Calm
Hey,
down.
stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. I'm good.
Okay, go. Whatever you need to do.
What's your name?
Becky Bell.
I'm good.
I own the property right there. 26921 South Highway 89.
Okay, Becky Bell.
Yes.
Do you have a middle name?
Heather.
And what's your date of birth?
3374.
Can you use my CD player thing?
Yes.
I don't know why it's buffering.
I
Do you have
believe
any objection to using my DVD-ROM?
It's the same as mine, same exact thing. Let me ask you this, do you have on your computer, do you have a DVD?
An HDMI?
There's an HDMI as well as some other kind of stuff. And it should pick up or apologies.
Do you need an HDMI cable?
We have one already. No, it's not showing the monitor. No, actually. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, maybe this would be a good time for a short break. So, yeah, but we all stretch our legs for just a touch. I'm going to remind everybody of the admonition. We'll get this TV screen squared away. We'll call you back in maybe 10 minutes, so please feel free to use the restroom. Does anybody need water? Okay, and Officer Colgrove will get you another bottle of water, ma'am. So please remember the admonition. We will call everybody back shortly. Well, let's get the computer squared away. I thought we were all set for video this time. It was finally going to work perfectly doing a video.
And I put,
We use mine,
it's,
which we saw worked just fine.
I can, they have the time written down. I mean, if the court wants to do that instead.
If you, it's up to you guys if you're okay with it.
It's all the same, the times are the same.
I mean, there's no redactions or anything to that issue or anything on your copy versus his, I would think. So, all right, let's test it out though.
All right.
That was odd though. We're not the most technologically savvy group.
That's why we're lawyers.
Trust me, I've done many PowerPoint presentations.
So what were we just looking at? Which one was it?
It was the top one. Oh, no.
No.
It was
It was the ID one.
down that way.
Right here.
Just go over there and let her know.
Oh, yeah, can I get off the call?
Yeah, you can, you're a passenger.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you're the passenger. Are you?
What are you guys doing? I live there.
Yeah.
Well, let's take another 5 minutes. We'll take a break. You need your water doing good over there, Ms. Cole?
My water's fine, I was wondering if I'm able to have a smoke break. Is
You
that-
can go right out that back door right there.
Okay, well, I guess we'll jump over tomorrow, because everything's in the car, my car, I didn't notice all this.
No, we will be breaking again in 50 minutes.
I will, thank you.
Okay.
It's good for me, I might even live another year, right?
7 minutes, I think they.
Is it
no, those
7
are hot
minutes?
dogs. Those are hot dogs.
So yeah, stretch your legs and we'll have Mr. Officer Colbert bring him back in at 11:15. You know, they always say, so you can always plan for a trial, it never goes as you planned.
That's why I have different ways. Plan A doesn't work, Plan B will.
Yeah, I have it saved in my computer too, but
Yeah, and I don't know why he didn't pick up the monitor on his computer. Maybe before we ever do this again, we can actually bring our computers in and make sure that, I'd rather you guys are controlling it than me plugging it into my computer.
yeah.
So we'll save that for future. Well, while they're out, Ms. Pearson, you can go turn the recorder off. We're good for a second. We can do the, I need to finish that form. It says it wants a GL key that's 10 digits long.
Should I tie it to my?
Okay, well, thank you, everybody, for that short break so we could tie that up. So I do know presence of counsel for both parties, the defendant as well as the jurors. Deputy, you are still on stand, you are still under oath. Mr. Nunez, when you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Sorry for the delay, guys. So I was about to show you, you just gave testimony, you made a traffic stop because of a headlight out, correct?
Yes.
I was about to show you body cam footage. So as I said before, I'm gonna click play it, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Just go over there and let her know.
Oh, yeah, can I get off the call?
Yeah, you can, you're a passenger.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you're the passenger. Are you?
What are you guys doing? I live there.
Yeah, what is this? Okay, my telephone is open, calm
Hey,
down.
stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. I'm good.
Okay, go, whatever you need to do.
What's your name?
Becky Bell.
I'm good.
I own the property right there, 26921 South Highway 89.
Okay, Becky Bell.
Yes,
Do you have a middle name?
Heather,
And what's your date of birth?
3374. Oh my God, he's gonna stand here and give you a goddamn lecture. Do whatever you need to do. You've gotten the information. He's a passenger. Nuts. You are too young to be doing this.
Can you step out of the car?
No, Dawn, what you need. You have my name, you have my birthday, what other information do you need? You can look up by that address and you can find my name, that's me.
I need you
Yes.
to step out, okay?
No, I don't need to step out. This started because you said my headlight is out.
Yeah.
You don't do all of this for a headlight. My father's a police officer. You are completely out of line, both of you.
Okay.
This is nuts.
Here's the deal.
We need to call your supervisor.
supervisor
Get your
now.
supervisor out here now. And you need to explain to them what the fuck you're
I'm gonna
doing.
pull my wife out of
Yeah,
the car.
this is nuts.
Yeah.
Get your
Stop talking back
supervisor.
here. Stop talking. Get the
Get your
supervisor.
supervisor out
Step
here
out of the
now.
car now.
All right. you consider that accurate footage of what took place that night?
Yes.
And is that the behavior you were talking about when you first came upon her?
Yes.
Now, do you normally ask on a traffic violation of a headlight or tail light out, do you normally ask the person to get out of the vehicle?
No.
So why did you ask her to get out of the vehicle in this instance?
Just due to her behavior, just very agitated and angry for our safety and her safety. We usually get people out of the car for that reason.
And why is that?
We don't know if they have firearms, if they plan on driving away.
Would you consider that to be officer safety?
Yes.
And I think I heard you, did you ask her to get out of the vehicle?
Yes.
And she did not, correct?
Correct.
Did she ever get out of the vehicle?
Yes, she did.
Was it after one ask, two asks?
There was multiple times we've asked her.
And how did she get out of the vehicle?
She pretty much swung her door open, almost hitting Deputy Radford.
So you didn't drag her out?
No.
You didn't take her out?
No.
She got out on her own?
Yes.
What kind of, would you say aggressively?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, he's leading the witness.
Sustained. So please ask a direct question, sir.
Okay, Judge. My apologies. I'm also going to show you footage from body cam that depicts this. I didn't see it tiring. I didn't see the time going. You know how we played it a minute ago and this was kind of moving?
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be moving. So again, I'm going to play footage and I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
You guys are talking about that. I never said anything about any drugs or anything like that. That's one. Two, if you want a supervisor down here, it's going to be an hour plus for them to get down here.
We've got kids in that house.
Okay.
I know, they don't give a fuck. They're on their little gang, their little power trip, okay? This is not.
Oh my God.
No, I submit. Whatever the fuck you want, I will do for you.
Hey,
So
hey.
get the hell out of here. Wait a
You
second.
need to calm down. Sir, stay in the car now.
Oh my God.
Stay in the car now. Don't touch us.
Oh my
I'm not going to do nothing. Stay in the car. I'm not getting out of the car.
So what did you observe?
More aggressive, agitated behavior from her.
And admittedly, you guys, or at least Officer Radford, I know you can't testify to his feelings, but you guys seem a little heightened as well.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Was that based upon the defendant's behavior?
Yes.
Now, why did you respond to the other side of the vehicle?
Because the passenger was trying to get out of the vehicle.
And is that not allowed in an
Yeah.
instance like
Well,
this?
we never asked him to get out. We don't know if he has weapons on him or if he's trying to, it's for our officer safety.
Okay, so again, it's for
Yeah.
officer safety. And then after this took place, after she jumped out of the vehicle, what happened after that?
She, again, was angry at us about the stop and, how we're not justified in getting her out of the vehicle. She was, I went back and ran Becky
And
through,
when you say ran, what do you mean?
looked her name up to make sure she had a valid driver's license since she didn't have one on her. And then after I went back, stood with Becky, and Deputy Radford went back to his vehicle, and I believe he made a phone call to Sergeant Ashby.
Okay. And he goes off to a phone call, did he ever come back?
Yes, he came back.
And then what took place?
So before that, I was standing with Becky. She again tried to go to the front of her car again. I thought she was trying to get in the driver's seat. I told her to get back behind her vehicle again. And then at that point, Deputy Radford came and asked her if she would consent.
Objection. Hearsay.
Do you have any reason why it should be answered?
It's observation. officer during duty as a sheriff?
Objective.
Observations are not statements.
No, sustained it, that you were asking a question regarding Deputy Radford.
So Deputy Radford came, you guys had a discussion?
Yes.
You and Deputy
Well,
Radford?
we didn't discuss anything. He came back while I was standing with Becky and asked her if,
You can't testify as to what the Deputy Radford, we'll get to him in a little bit.
Okay, real quick, objection sustained, but go ahead, sir, you covered that for me.
So at what point did you feel that it was necessary to turn this from a traffic stop to any other kind of investigation?
so based on her behavior, agitated and irate, and then her mentioning before she got out of the vehicle, I believe she said, just because I don't have teeth doesn't mean I'm on speed or meth or anything like that. Deputy Radford or I never mentioned anything about her being under the influence of something. So that heightened our suspicion.
Objection, Your Honor. He can testify to heighten his suspicion. He cannot testify to Deputy Radford.
So again, just testify on your own.
And the objection is sustained, so the witness will answer questions about his own observation and own interpretation.
So you stated your observations of her seemed like she was agitated.
Yes.
And I know we talked a little bit ago, when people are pulled over for traffic stops, sometimes they're upset, right?
Sometimes.
But you think this was a little more than just being upset?
Yes.
Based upon what?
Her, screaming, yelling, opening the door aggressively, coming out of the car. And then her mentioning about being under the influence of speed or meth.
So she made statements to you based upon physical characteristics that you were making assumptions? Is that kind of what I heard you say?
Yes.
And you hadn't asked her about any drug use or anything like that?
Correct.
Okay, so when you conduct field sobriety tests, how do you go about starting those?
So ask them if they consent to SFSTs.
And did she?
Yes.
Okay.
During that, you have a SFST sheet. It just goes over questions, asking if they haven't had any alcohol, if they take any medication or drugs. Once you get through all those questions, you start with HGN, which is the eye test.
So let me call a timeout real quick. So back to the questions on the form. You asked her if she had consumed any alcohol, correct?
Correct.
What was her response?
She said no.
You asked her if she used any types of drugs or substances, correct?
Correct.
And her answer was?
No.
Did she mention any medications that she was on?
No.
Do you ask if there's any potential injuries that she has that could impact the way her performance would be on these tests?
Yes.
And what was her answer?
I believe she didn't have any injuries.
So then, after you ask the questions, then what?
Then you go over to the first test, which is HGN.
Okay.
During that test, I had her get in the starting position, arms down by her side. I had her remove her glasses, and then conducted the test. I did not see any clues for that.
Okay. And then what was the second test?
Second test was the walk and turn.
And you explained it?
Yes.
So I'm going to play you a little bit fucking fast forward to it from your body cam.
Just, it does say the time now.
Yeah, I see that now. Maybe I just couldn't see it before.
No, it wasn't working before. Maybe there's a delay. You need to pause it to see the time. believe if you were to hit play and pause right now, it would tell you what time it is.
Take your lead foot, keep it planted on the ground, and you're going to take a small series of steps just like this. Okay? And then you're going to turn around and walk back and take another 9 heel-to-toe steps. Do you understand? Does that make sense? You want me to explain?
No, it does make perfect sense. I'm just like thinking about it, like if I was.
So like you said, just to reiterate, okay?
Yeah.
Hold on, we didn't tell you to begin. So just to reiterate, okay? Heel to toe, just like this. Good job. Okay? So just to reiterate, when we tell you to begin, you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps down, okay? And then with your lead foot still planted on the ground, you're going to take a series of small steps, turn it around, take 9 heel-to-toe steps back. You're going to look at your feet the entire time, you're counting each step out loud. So it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3. Keep your eyes on it. Okay? So just for the purpose of this test, let's just pretend this is my 9th step. So I'm going to leave my lead foot on the ground, take a series of small steps, turn it around, and I'm going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps back. 1, 2, 3, so forth and so forth until I reach step number 9. Okay?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, whoa. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We keep this one down and turn this one around. And then it goes in front. 1, 2. This is weird. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Stop and when I get to the end. Well,
So, in watching that video, did you notice any cues?
Yes, I marked 6 clues.
Out of how many?
8.
So, for an example, what cues did you just see?
So she started before the instruction, I finished the instructions and told her to start. Her arms more than 6 inches apart from her body, swaying back and forth, stopped while walking, didn't touch heel to toe.
And I also noticed something kind of interesting. She was barefooted.
Yes.
Why was she barefooted?
She had flip-flops on, and she said she was more comfortable with bare feet.
So you didn't tell her to take her shoes off?
No, she did that herself.
That was her choice.
Yes.
And as far as where you guys were at, was it flat?
Yes, just dirt and, small rocks.
There weren't any major potholes that she had to avoid?
No.
Large rocks?
No.
Did she look, in your opinion, did she look comfortable being barefooted?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to show you a video in regards to the one leg stand.
You're going to look. And walk back and take another. We do. So, when I tell you to, you're going to pick any leg of your choice, and you're going to lift it off 6 inches off the ground, just like this.
okay.
Okay? Keep it parallel to the ground. What I want you to do is look at your foot, with your arms down by your side, and then you're going to count out loud. 1001, 1002, 1003, until I tell you to stop. All right, do you understand?
I understand.
All right, what leg do you want to choose? So your right leg?
Sure.
Okay. So real quick before you start, you did the walk and turn in your bare feet because you said you were more comfortable walking in your bare feet because you're a barefoot person. Do you want to do this in bare as well? Or
That's actually a very good point. I will take that suggestion.
No, it's not such it's however you want to do this.
Well, whatever, no, I mean, just, that's a good idea, because, yeah, I mean, I was walking and going like this, so let's do that, yes.
Okay. Okay, so you do not want to do these in your shoes?
Yeah, I'll just take them off, like, I'll take it off, yeah.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know, because like I said, you did the walk and turn in your bare feet.
Very good, cool, okay, so then you want me to count one?
Okay, yeah, so you're going to pick your right foot, feet
Okay.
together, pick one leg that you want, 6 inches off the ground, and then you're going to look at the tip of your toe and count 1001, 1002 until I tell you to stop counting.
Okay. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, 1010, 1011, 1012, 1013.
Sorry, somebody else is calling. David out of Fresca, nothing you know.
1014, 15, 1013,
Just until I tell you to stop.
1014, 1015, 1016, 1017, 1018, 1019, 1020, 1021.
So again, what did you observe?
So for the one leg stand, I observed 3 clues. Swaying, uses arms to balance, and then puts her foot down.
And again, what are these tests trying to measure?
Impairment.
And in your opinion, based on your observations, did it appear that she was impaired?
Yes.
Now, I know there were a couple more tests done on the side of the road that Deputy Radford conducted, is that correct?
Yes.
And I'll go over those with Deputy Radford. So after those tests, then what took place?
She was then placed under arrest and asked if she would consent to a DRE to do further testing in Yarnell.
Okay, and what was her response?
Yes.
So then what happened? She's placed under arrest?
I read her Miranda. She wasn't really listening to me.
Objection, Your Honor. It's not allowed testimony.
You have a reason why it should be, sir.
No.
Okay, sustained. Please strike that last part of the answer from Deputy St. Gelais from the record.
So you read her Miranda rights, correct?
Yes.
And then you transported her?
Transported her to Yarnell substation right over here.
And then what happened at the substation?
So during that, Sergeant Ashby arrived. But before that, I was completing admin per se. I read that to her, and then I started filling out it's just an alcohol influence form. It asks certain questions if they've had alcohol and or drugs.
So you did the paperwork, and then you said Sergeant Ashby, and she is the...
DRE,
And what is a DRE?
drug recognition expert.
Okay. And just based on your observations when you were here, what were, you don't have to tell me exactly, like, tests and what goes into those tests, but what were they doing? Were they doing extra tests?
Yes.
And then after those tests were conducted, was there a blood draw done? Or was
Yes.
that prior?
I'm not exactly sure if it was done before or after the tests.
Okay. But there was a blood draw done?
Yes.
And
Could we take a break? Could I have counsel at the table, please? I'm going to say this real quick. You're here, but she's legal later. She's just trying to get the comments and provisions. Okay? You're not talking to them until he's done talking.
So, rewind, there was a blood draw done.
Yes.
And when blood draws are done, then who analyzes the blood?
It's booked into our evidence, Prescott Valley, and they send it off to the DPS crime lab.
Okay, and are you aware of any results that came back on this blood?
Yes.
And what were those results?
She tested positive for THC.
And this is Goose Exhibit. That's the blood results, Judge.
And this has already been admitted through stipulation as states exhibit number 6.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
So once the blood draw is done, once the testing through the drug recognition expert is completed, then what takes place?
Filled out more paperwork for her. We just did a cite and release for DUI slightest. And Deputy Radford drove her back to her residence in Congress.
So Deputy Radford, you guys gave her, maybe not you guys, but Deputy Radford drove her back home.
Yes.
And just to rewind a little bit about the stop itself, you guys typically, well, I'll rephrase. You guys typically do DUI investigations on random traffic stops?
No.
When do you start doing any type of investigation?
When there's, if there's obvious signs like bloodshot, watery eyes, odor, but in this case it was more of her behavior and agitation and her mentioning, being under the influence of something.
So it wasn't games that you were playing?
No.
You're basing your further investigation on her behavior
Yes.
and on her comments?
Yes.
No questions.
When you're ready, Mr. Letter.
Okay, get to this one sheet. All right, Deputy, when did you get out of the academy?
Graduated in December of 2021.
And did you immediately start working the street?
We had about 2 weeks before we were put on FTO,
And for the jury's benefit, what is FTO?
field training.
And how long was field training?
You do 4 phases. Each phase, or the first 3, are about a month long. During that, your FTO observes you every day. He critiques you, writes reports about everything you've done for the shift and what you need to work on or what you did good on.
Okay, so is it fair to say January, February, March, you were with the field training office?
Yes.
And then what?
And then after you complete your 4th phase, they evaluate you. They go over everything throughout your whole phases, and they evaluate you to make sure you're okay to be on your own.
What's the 4th phase?
4th phase is pretty much the FTO just shadows you. He's in plain clothes, and you,
So is that another month?
I think it's 2 weeks.
Okay, so January, February, March, and then 2 weeks, so we're into mid-April,
Correct.
and then you're out on your own.
Yes.
So your experience on May 30th was about 6 weeks, correct?
Correct.
Other than training, which is valuable experience as well, I'll give you that. Okay. Are you familiar with the body cam?
Yes.
Have you watched body cam videos start?
Yes.
Is there a delay when a body cam starts where you have no sound?
Yes.
Would you agree, or do I need to back it up, that once your body cam kicked in, there was no delay, there was immediate sound?
Yes.
Why is that?
I forgot to turn it on, and once I realized that, I held down my button, and once I saw the green light, I double tapped it to turn it on.
So is there some sequence of your initial walk up to the car that it was not captured?
No.
No?
Well, no, because it was off.
I'm sorry?
The body cam was off, so it didn't
So it
capture
did not capture your initial approach to the car, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we didn't get the benefit of seeing your initial conversation with Ms. Bell.
Correct.
You testified a few minutes ago that she refused to give you her name. But we saw the video, she gave you her name right away. Correct? Or do I need to play it again?
Could you play that again?
Sure.
And just so I stop with your music, and I know that you're gonna need a time on this one, but to get the right time to see what the time is on there, you have to hit play and then pause, and we'll show you the accurate time as you confirm. Oh, I'm sorry, did you need me to do it for you? I remember last time you had some trouble with my mouse.
Yeah, if you want to just go right to the very beginning.
Right here?
Yes.
Please just tell me to pause.
Just go over there and let her know.
Oh, yeah, can I get off the call?
Yeah, you can, you're a passenger. Yeah, you're the passenger. Are you?
What are you guys doing? I live there.
Yeah, what is this? Okay, my camera is open, calm
Hey,
down.
stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. I'm good.
Okay, go, whatever you need to do.
What's your name?
Becky Bell.
You see how many seconds that is on the tape?
Yes.
What is it?
25.
So she gave you her name within 25 seconds. Correct?
Yes, but I don't think I testified to her not giving a name.
Well, we heard your testimony. I'll let the jury check their own memory. Okay. Obviously, she was not cooperative. There's no argument there, correct?
Correct.
Had you, in your 6 weeks, seen anyone quite that uncooperative?
No.
In your training at the academy, what are signs of impairment?
Bloodshot, watery eyes, odor, or not odor, slurred speech, pale face, cotton mouth.
Did you see any of those things you just mentioned?
No.
Is anger on the list?
No.
So you didn't have bloodshot, watery eyes, you didn't have cotton mouth, you had no odor of alcohol. Did you have slurred speech?
No.
And you performed HGN,
Yes.
horizontal gaze nystagmus, and you testified that you saw no clues
Yes.
or cues on HGN, correct?
Correct.
So at this point, when you get her out of the car, you still have no articulable signs of impairment, correct?
Her behavior and agitation.
No, you just said anger is not a sign of impairment. Which is it?
Well, on the alcohol influence form, a form that we have to fill out. I don't-
Go ahead. On the alcohol influence form, do you have a copy of it with you?
I do.
Do you need to look at it to testify, to finish that sentence?
Yes.
Okay, Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, please.
I'm showing him what's part of State's Exhibit 3. Oh, 5.
Okay. No assumptions, you're okay with this, Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, sir.
And the purpose of the form is for?
The purpose is for recollection, if you can answer the question that we were contemplating as far as anger.
But just real quick, if you want to read the form and then turn it over, and then we'll answer the question based upon that. Please use it to refresh your recollection.
Yeah, you can read it, turn it over, and then answer the question. Do you have an answer? Is anger listed on there?
Well, not on this form, but can I change my answer?
Sir?
So signs of impairment can show someone's I guess mood going up and down, and that's what she was showing. She would be agitated and then calm down and go up again.
So during the field sobriety test, when we saw the video, would you say she was cooperative at that point?
Yes,
You mentioned that you asked her if she was on any drugs or alcohol, and her answer was no, correct?
yes,
On the form, does it say, are you on prescription drugs, illegal drugs, or alcohol?
am I able to look at it?
Yes.
Once again, don't read from the form though.
Yes, it says that.
So did you ask if she's on prescription drugs, illegal drugs, or alcohol?
I believe I just asked her if she's taking any medication or drugs.
Okay, so you didn't ask it the way it's on the form, in which case her answer would have been correct, right?
Yes,
Because she hadn't taken any prescription drugs. She hadn't taken any illegal drugs, and we know there was no alcohol involved, correct? Okay.
Real quick, that when we give answers, we need to speak out loud.
yes.
All right. Who was filling out this form during the field sobriety test?
I filled it out and Deputy Radford filled it out.
So 2 officers were writing on the same form, correct?
Yes,
And your name is on the bottom.
yes,
When she did, well, first of all, I'll go over again. It's relatively flat there, it's night, it's dark, and you testified there's rocks. Would you consider it like gravelly, sandy?
yes,
And her choice was to take the sandals off, correct?
correct.
The walk and turn, you said you saw 6 clues. She was barefoot, you saw no HGN. Then you come to the one-leg stand, and you tell her to lift a leg up, her choice, keep your hands at your side, and count 1001, 1002 until I tell you to stop, correct?
Correct.
How long do you normally go before you tell them to stop?
It's about 30 seconds.
About 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Okay. So they theoretically have to stand there and go 1001, 1002, all the way up to 30, correct?
Well, I time it and we tell them to stop once the 30 seconds is up.
Okay. And her foot went down about 13, and she lifted it up again and had some trouble, noticeable trouble, correct?
Correct.
All right. So you mentioned there's 3 standard field sobriety tests. The HGN, the walk and turn, and one-leg stand, correct?
Yes,
And you did those 3.
yes.
Why did you do 2 more?
Deputy Radford is A-RIDE certified. He has more experience with the other tests.
Did you need the other tests by that time in your mind?
I had enough, based on what I had enough to place her under arrest.
Who was your supervisor that night?
I don't know who that was.
Who did Deputy Radford call, if you know?
Sergeant Ashby.
Is she a supervisor?
Yeah, she was off duty.
And she is DRE certified, correct?
Yes.
Drug recognition expert.
Yes.
We saw the video. Is it fair to say that both you and Deputy Radford gave her field sobriety tests? You gave some, he gave some. At one point, both of you were showing her the walk and turn, correct?
Yes.
When she requested the supervisor, what was her answer? What was your answer?
It's going to be an hour plus. Oh, I didn't say that. Deputy Radford said that.
And by this point, after the field sobriety test, she's cooperative, correct?
Yes.
She agreed to allow you to transport her up to Yarnell for further tests,
Yes.
correct? You had your body cam on the whole time, correct?
Yes.
Throughout the booking process, which I assume was in this room over here, I'm pointing to the sheriff's office.
Which is completely separated from the court.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's why it says private. So you had your body cam on, is it fair to say, throughout this whole process,
Yes.
even up here in the booking room?
Yes.
Matter of fact, the body cam, you would agree, shows you filling out all your paperwork.
Yes.
So when was she arrested?
In Congress?
Okay, at the scene?
Yes.
She was under arrest at that point.
Yes.
Why did you call for a DOE?
Just to figure out what type of substance she was on.
Did you have any suspicion?
That point, no.
Objection, plus speculation, Your Honor.
Asking his street experience and recognizing symptoms of drug or alcohol. He's testifying to field sobriety tests and signs of impairment. He obviously should be able to testify to what he thought she was on.
Yeah, can we approach, please? If it's going to be completely set out as far as the objection is concerned, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a good stopping point. Okay. Okay.
The objection is overruled.
Okay. What in your training and experience up to that point did you think she was on?
Well, from that point, I knew that if I had no HGN, it could have been a marijuana, because I know with you don't get any HGN with marijuana in your system.
Did you ever mention marijuana to her?
No.
Did you ever ask her if she was on marijuana?
No.
Okay. So your body cam is on throughout the time, correct?
Yes.
The whole time? To go all the way to the end.
All in, please. Am I going too fast?
No, go all the way in. Okay. Now back up maybe 10 seconds.
we're about, we went about,
That's
we're 20 seconds back.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're in a position that nobody else can see. Can you see how long that video is to that point? It's in the bottom left.
Yes.
What is it?
2 hours, 42 minutes.
And some seconds?
Yes, 25 seconds.
So 2 hours, 42 minutes have elapsed. Your body camera is still on. And let's see what happens in the next. You just turn it on.
So, it's your case, right?
Is that Sergeant Ashby?
Yes.
Where are you going now?
Outside?
And that's when your body cam turns off, right?
Yes.
You went outside with Sergeant Ashby and had some kind of a conversation, correct?
Yes.
After that conversation, she was finally told that she was under arrest for DUI, correct?
I don't really remember that conversation with her at all.
Okay. If we could go to, let me look at it. We are almost at stopping point. St. Gervais, paperwork 2, very beginning. We don't have the sound here. Okay, yeah, pause it right there. This is you and her outside, you and Sergeant Ashby, correct?
Yes.
This is the conversation you had outside, correct?
Yes.
Okay, we play it. There's no sound because it takes 30 seconds. You see the gestures. Now you go back inside, correct?
Feeling okay?
I'm just freezing cold.
Let's see if I can turn up the heat.
Thank you. That's a lot. Thank you.
And that's you filling out your paperwork, correct?
Yes.
I think that's enough for that. Can pick that up with another witness.
May I turn the video off now?
Yes. How long once you got up to, if you remember, once you got up here to the field office, how long did it take? Sergeant asked you to show up.
I don't know that.
Any idea? Yes?
Really?
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't-
It would be on the video. You agree?
Yes.
No further questions.
So at this point, we are going to take the break for lunch. When we do get back, then you'll have the opportunity to redirect Mr. Nugent. So for lunch, a few things that I can advise you of is, for those of you not familiar with Yarnell, I can give you some choices. We do have a pizza shop right here down the road. If you leave here, turn left, take your first right, and it's right there on the corner on the left side. It's called Gilligan's. As far as other places, the ranch house may be open, it may not. I'm not too good with what their schedule is.
Oh, no, Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, you guys are gonna know better than me. I never know when they're open and when they're not. We also have the Mountain Air up the road. They do have a lot of snacks, and they did just bring hot dogs into the facility if you are a fan of hot dogs. Outside of that, there are some things down the Congress Road. What I would ask is we're gonna come back and be ready to go again at 1:15. Please be on time. And just one other part regarding that is, and I don't, let's just say I say this because it has happened in somewhere else before, therefore I'm aware of it. When you do have lunch today, please limit yourself to water, soda, orange juice, things such as that. That would be appreciated greatly. Do remember that the admonition is in effect, and do not discuss the case even amongst yourselves at this point. Thank you. We'll see you at 1:15 exactly.
Buildings.
Yeah, no, it's not far.
8 minutes to walk over.
I figured out. Are you doing it? Yeah.
So it can come out, go what? Walk to the street, probably.
That means like goes nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, you're fine. Yep, write it down before you forget.
Wow, what did you say, just put it here?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, thank you guys. We'll be back at 1:15.
Sounds good. So we don't need this, right?
No, we don't need that. It's working good with the, does the USB have all these files on it? It has everything? Okay.
It has all body cam footage.
Okay, we're good. Let's have to figure it out for next time. You're good to take it off. The record.
What? What am I taking off?
Oh my goodness. Ready? Ready? Okay, the court does no presence of counsel for state and defense, the defendant, Ms. Bell, as well as the members of the jury. Mr. Nunez, I believe it's, or Mr., are you still going, Mr. Loader?
No, I was finished, he was still, I think, he has to redirect.
Okay, redirect, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Deputy St. Joe, you are still under oath. Hopefully everybody did have a good lunch, and when you're ready to proceed, Mr. Nunez, please do.
Hey, Judge. All right, Deputy. So we established you're on the job at the time of this incident. You're on your own for about 6 weeks, right?
Yes.
But going through the 4 phases, the FTO process, you said you're evaluated.
Yes.
What are some of those evaluations?
So there's a daily critique form. He goes over everything you've done wrong. For example, like say if we had a traffic stop, if I approached it wrong or if I missed a certain violation, he would, correct me on that, explain to me what I could have done differently.
Okay. And you said at the end of the 4th phase, your FTO or field training officer basically shadows you, is that what you said?
Yes.
And then at the end of those, you said 2 weeks, they grade you?
Yes, so again, it's the same thing. During the 2 weeks, you do a daily observation. He does a daily critique form on you. And then after those 2 weeks, you have a meeting with lieutenants and captains, and they go over, the FTO has to explain why he feels like I'm ready to be on my own.
And did that take place?
Yes.
And did you fail any of those critiques or any of those tests?
No.
What would have happened if you would have?
They either extend you, you get extended so you do more field training. If you continue failing or not doing the job to certain standards, then they might fire you.
Okay. But that didn't happen in this case.
No.
And then the body camera, I know you mentioned there's a delay when you turn it on.
Yes.
Why is there a delay, if you know?
So it's just a rewind. So it's always playing when it's on, and it just captures the last 30 seconds
Okay.
with no sound.
But in this case, you just forgot to turn it on when you got out of your vehicle?
Yes, it was already off once I got out.
And then defense touched a little bit. You gave certain standardized field sobriety tests, and then Deputy Radford gave 2 more. Why did you guys do 2 extra?
Just he's A-RIDE certified, so he has more training on those tests, and it just helps, I guess, prove more impairment.
So basically, he has a little bit more experience, right?
Yes.
And you guys are trying to get it right.
Yes.
And is it common practice when you're either discussing the case or having a conversation with other officers to mute your body-worn camera?
Yes.
And why is that?
Just, discussing certain details of the case, just going over things.
Just stuff that's private between the 2 of you.
Yes.
And you also mentioned that when somebody doesn't display any cues with the horizontal gaze agonist, is that consistent with THC or the active ingredient in marijuana?
Yes.
And in this case, the defendant did not show any signs of HGN, is that right?
Correct.
No further questions, John.
You may step down, sir.
Your Honor.
Oh, see,
I was waiting.
I was prepared all morning.
He was waiting for that kick, Jim.
Okay, so if the jurors have any questions, if you could please write them down, fold them up, and give them to the bailiff. And if you didn't pick up, that's something I tend to forget a lot, and I was very well prepared this morning not to forget it today. All right, come on up. We might have to ask them to rephrase their question. I don't understand it. Okay, well, I want to, here, I don't want to call out whoever wrote it, but I just, I'll address it after the other questions if the other one is. Okay, so we have 2 questions. I'm going to address one. With the other question, we could use a little more clarity on what the question is. So I'm going to ask the question, Deputy St. Gelais, did you observe any signs of impaired driving by the defendant?
No.
So that's the only question I'm going to ask at this point. If the jurors have any further questions, if you could please follow that same procedure, write them down and get them to the bailiff, and we will address them.
Your Honor, I believe you can ask the first part of it.
I don't want to I can make it into a question. I just don't want to mischaracterize the question if I'm not accurate in my summation of it.
Well, perhaps that juror probably knows
Yeah.
what the question may be.
Yeah, so that juror could rephrase that question for me to ask it in the way that they would like. So the question that wasn't asked, if you would like to resubmit that, you'd be more than welcome to.
The bottom part was not mentioned. It's just the top part was the question. I've realized that can make a better job. Embarrass myself. Does that make sense?
Yes, and that's why I was trying to say just to rewrite it and then I would readdress it. So we're good with that top part of the question, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Headlight out, is that a usual stop for anyone?
Yes.
Okay, and before we let them down, if anybody else, any other questions, please go ahead and write those down and we can address those. Do I take this as there's no questions from the jury to continue? Okay, all right, you can step down, sir. You can step down. Okay, Mr. Nunez.
Thank you, Judge. At this time, state would like to call Deputy Radford.
Is anybody warm? Okay, so just me? All right, just checking. I'm okay. I can be warm.
Slightly warmer than earlier, but it's not.
You know, maybe we'll get lucky and the air will kick on right at the right time to make us cold again. Maybe it'll kick off and make us warm.
Yeah.
No, this way, sir. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, please have a seat. Go ahead and say your name and spell your last.
Yeah. Did you say spell my last?
Yes, please.
So my name is Deputy Corey Rafford, and that's Radford.
Thank you, Deputy. Where are you employed?
Yavapai County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been with Yavapai County?
Going on 8 years now.
And what kind of training and experience do you have? I can start from the beginning to where you're at now.
Okay. So I started at the jail. I've gone through interview training, investigation training. I was part of gang task force while at the jail, so I've gone through multiple different trainings for that. I've gone through LiDAR training, phlebotomy training, radar training, HGN, A-Ride. I always mix it up, so I apologize, but I believe it's called HIDUS. It's one step above A-Ride, but one step below DRE training.
So with HGN, what is HGN training?
HGN training is a horizontal gauge and the SAGMAS. We learn how to do HGN along with the other FST, so the walk and turn and the one leg stand.
And A-Ride, what is A-Ride?
It is, I apologize because I might mix up the acronym for it, but I believe it's Advanced Roadside Impairment. And I for the life of me, I can never remember what the D and E are.
Okay.
But
so in your A-Ride training, what do you learn?
So at the A-Ride training, we learn 3 additional tests that we can perform on roadside, and that's the LOC or lack of convergence, Rodenberg modified, and finger to nose.
And when you say lack of convergence, what is that?
So lack of convergence is essentially I have something that we call a stimulus that we also use for HGN, but we go around in a circle and we see if both your eyes can converge on our stimulus when we come close to your nose.
So it's layman's terms for me, it's basically you can go cross-eyed.
Yes, yes, sir.
And you ask the persons you're testing if they can do that initially?
Yes, sir.
And did you ask the defendant in this case?
Yes, sir.
And what were her results on the lack of convergence? What did you observe?
So I observed in doing the test that her right eye did not converge on the stimulus.
And what is that a sign and symptom of?
It could be a sign and symptom of that there's another something else on board with essentially that a drug could be on board or in her system.
And I'm sorry, I kind of got ahead of myself. How did you even become involved in this call?
I was on the traffic stop along with Deputy St. Gelais.
Okay. And is that something you guys do typically?
Yes, sir. We typically work nights and we always typically run in pairs.
And is that for officer safety?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why did you guys stop the vehicle?
I believe it was for a headlight out.
And then once you stopped the vehicle, what took place then from your observations?
So from my observations, Deputy St. Gelais performed a driver's side approach while I performed a passenger side approach, which is pretty common how we typically do it. And while I was attempting to speak with the passenger, the driver of the vehicle became extremely irate.
So the driver of the vehicle, is that the defendant in Department 10?
Yes, sir.
She became irate. What do you mean by irate? She was just upset that she got pulled over?
She began yelling and screaming while I was attempting to talk with the passenger in the vehicle. She yelled at me saying, "Oh, so you're going to give him the speech," and then proceeded to roll up the window.
Okay. And then what did you do?
I told Deputy St. Gelais to get her out of the vehicle as I walked around to the driver's side.
And did he?
He gave her commands to get out of the vehicle, yes.
And did she get out at that point?
No, sir.
So he asked her to get out of the vehicle, she didn't get out, and then what did you do?
I proceeded again, try to ask her to get out of the vehicle, and I asked her multiple times to get out of the vehicle.
At this point, was she getting under your skin?
To be honest with you, a little bit.
Okay, it's understandable. Do you encounter difficult, in your opinion, difficult persons on an everyday basis?
It depends on the type of the call. To be honest with you, are we talking about traffic stops or other?
We'll go with traffic stops.
Traffic stops? Not usually,
Okay.
no.
So in your opinion, her behavior after you stopped the vehicle was atypical, meaning abnormal?
Yes, sir.
Did she ever exit the vehicle?
Eventually, yes, sir.
And how did she exit the vehicle?
She exited, in my opinion, she exited in a violent way by throwing the door open.
After she got out of the vehicle, then what took place?
Once she got out of the vehicle, her passenger tried to get out of the vehicle, and we gave her verbal commands to go to the back of the vehicle. At the same time, we also had to give verbal commands to the passenger to stay in the vehicle.
And why did you want him to stay in the vehicle?
For officer safety reasoning. He was extremely irate as well and was becoming upset.
So once you had him stationary in the vehicle, you had that situation kind of calm down, and you had the defendant at the back of the vehicle. What took place after that?
I asked Deputy St. Gelais if he had her information, which he replied he did, and I told him to go run her information. And then we asked her if she would consent to FSTs.
And did she?
Yes, sir, she did.
So, Deputy St. Gelais conducted the first 3 FSTs, correct?
Yes, sir, he did.
And then what part or what role did you play in any of the SFTs?
So I stood by, seeing that I was HGN certified. So I stood by, listened. I also helped explain in further detail for the steps for the current test that she was doing. And then I conducted the I conducted the LOC, so the lack of convergence, the Romberg modified, and then the finger to nose.
And you already testified that on the LOC, her right eye didn't come in.
Correct.
And she had stated she could cross her eyes.
Yes, sir.
And you stated the next test would be the Romberg test, correct?
I don't recall which order that I did them, but I know I did do a Romberg modified, yes, sir.
And can you explain what the Romberg modified is to us?
Yes, sir. So what the Romberg modified is, do you want me just to explain it, or do you want me to get up and show you?
If you're comfortable showing it,
Yeah.
go for it.